Hard to believe the Prius has been around for over 15 years, but it has, and Toyota just celebrated its 8 millionth hybrid vehicle sale around the world. This vehicle has clearly been their rock star, and hybrid is part of their DNA. They sell about 230,000 Priuses a year. That's more than most car companies sell for their entire lineup in a year in the US. This is the 2016 fourth generation Prius, and as you can see, it got a lot more stylish, it got a lot sportier, it got a lot stiffer, 60% stiffer. Toyota really believes in this vehicle, and they put us through a lot of tests, and we're gonna put you in the driver's seat. The first thing you notice when you look at the new Prius is that it got lower, it got wider. As a matter of fact, this Toyota badge sits as low as an FRS. It's several inches lower than the outgoing model. Now, moving back here, you can see all new headlights, very edgy, very stylish. It's kind of polarizing. Some people don't like it. It's starting to grow on us. So they have this floating roof design, and that's where the roof has this black in between it to kind of make it look like it's floating. All the lines have been completely redone. From the second to the third generation Prius, the styling was kind of subtle, but the styling changes to this fourth generation is very dramatic. Moving back here, you can see that same edginess in the taillights, a lot of LEDs going on. This thing is very edgy from a styling perspective. They really want you to know you're driving a hybrid. But some of the biggest changes have been underneath. I mentioned that the chassis got 60% stiffer thanks to high strength and ultra strength steel, but also there's an all new double wishbone suspension. That makes a big difference. That added about 100 pounds, but they took away 100 pounds for the overall weight of the vehicle. So the overall vehicle weight pretty much stayed the same, but the end result is a much better vehicle. Because it's a hybrid, we have to talk about the batteries. What are you going to do with the batteries? Well, first of all, the batteries have changed. The base model, that's the Prius 2, that's their kind of entry-level price point. It still has the nickel metal hydride battery. But the higher trim levels, they're going to get a lithium-ion battery pack. Those battery packs also got smaller, and they moved them from behind the second row to underneath the second row. What has that done? About 20 to 25% more cargo space, depending on which configuration you get. You can get it with a compact spare or without one at all. So they really kind of thought about how people use their vehicle. And of course, you still have the 60-40 rear split. You know, people don't realize it, but this is a 5-door hatchback, and it's the most popular 5-door hatchback sold in America today. As expected, the interior of the Prius has been completely redesigned, starting with an all-new sportier steering wheel. You also have now twin 4.3-inch high-definition TFT displays. They're really quite pleasing to look at. You have an all-new center stack, wireless charging, and the big change has been in the design of the dash. Before, it was just kind of, very segregated. You had the dash and the door. Now it's all integrated. It's one big flowing piece, and it really looks quite nice. I think this is the future of other Toyota models. New for the 2016 model year, the Prius 2 is now available as an eco model, and it gets 58 miles per gallon in the city, 53 on the highway for a combined average of 56. All other Prius models will get 54 miles per gallon in the city, 50 on the highway, and 52 combined. So we're really impressed with what Toyota has done with the Prius, but it's not all perfect by any means. First thing we noticed when we got in the car and closed the doors is it sounded a little tinny. Not too impressed. Like what they've done with the suspension, like the interior changes, but the EV mode, for example, that's pretty much the same performance that it had with the outgoing model. This is 2016. You can do better, Toyota. Another thing is no Apple CarPlay. I think Toyota's made a clear decision not to incorporate that into their vehicles, and I think that's a mistake. Last but not least, not a big fan of the seats. They're better than the outgoing model, but they still felt a little bit flat. We kind of went back and forth between the mid-grade and the touring model, so we did get a nice representation of the Prius models. But overall, I mean, you can't go wrong with this vehicle. It still outsells its nearest competitor by 7 times, 7-to-1 sales advantage over its nearest competition. The 2016 Prius starts at under $23,000, and a loaded out Prius 4 Touring model, that's the one with the 17-inch wheels, around $30,000. Now, as we demonstrated to you today, Toyota really believes in this car, and yeah, we did put it through some good little tests, a little autocross, and it's definitely a sportier vehicle, but it's by no means a sports car. A couple of weeks ago, we shot a video with Formula Drift racer Odi Bakchis, and he pulled up to the shoot in a Prius. Shocked me, but just goes to show you that even people who race for a living drive these because they just make a lot of sense. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Driver's Seat.